Hey, hello folks, this is Trooper Joe, ArchAngel, returning to Chivalry on Wednesday on blogtalkradio.com. So y'all can just tune right in. I'm sure you're already tuned in, and while you have a minute, call your friends, tell them to tune in. Or you can call here if you want to, just to ask any questions or make any comments or send any texts at 323-870-4069. I'll repeat that for you. 323-870-4069. So you can send in any texts or call in everything. We stay away from the emails because we see what it do to the FBI directors and stuff. So yeah, we don't want to go there. What kind of politics are we really playing nowadays? I'm a little bit concerned about the way this country is acting with politics. It's really getting concerning. I have to see how it plays out, though. You got to be a little bit patient. It hasn't been but a little over 100 days since Trump took office and made things, but the firing of the FBI director and letting him find out why he's in the middle of a talk to FBI recruits is a little bit disturbing. You know, it doesn't show a lot of tact, but I know that's the way he does things, you know. But there's just so much lying. I'm kind of liking that, though, to tell you the truth. I'm liking that a lot of the falseness of politics is coming to surface, but I'm thinking it's being replaced by a whole new wave of falseness, you know. So I'm not sure on how that's working, but it's, you know, there's a lot of secrets in the political arena that people really don't want to know about, I would have to say. Just like in that movie, you can't handle the truth. You know, there's a lot to that, you know. I believe if you really knew some of the things that go on behind the closed doors, not that I'm privy to a lot of things, but, you know, back in the day, I remember a couple of secrets we ain't supposed to talk about, you know, so, at the door, someone coming to shut me up. No. So that's a good thing, but I am a little concerned. And that, you know, I've been thinking, not really thinking, but kind of playing with, you know, just like everybody else is playing with, who are the Democrats going to be trying to put into office? There's no archangels out there to run for office. That's what this country really needs, I think. They need somebody who's going to appreciate the act of chivalry, and somebody that's going to appreciate it enough to really take in the feelings of the people that they represent, and not just to be inside this game and want to represent just a few people where the money sits, or a few people where they get their votes from, but represent the whole country. Big job. I wouldn't want to be president. I think it'd be too much. And I think that, honestly, I think that the people that are some of the Democratic people that are still playing these games and stuff, they're in the way. Yeah, Bernie, you know, I think I don't know if you're a good guy, bad guy, or anything like that, but you're not changed your thing for, what, 40 years? It's like, it didn't work then, it's not going to work now, and it's divided your party for the presidential election. It's like, you know, you guys need to have a little bit of duct tape on that party so that you can be a formidable adversary, you know, for against the Trump regime, because he's building a regime himself. You know? I got to give him that. He's a pretty good businessman from where I'm sitting. He seems to be a good businessman. He lacks tact, though, as a politician, because, like I said, I don't think you fire the FBI director like that. But I guess he does. Obviously, he like to say, "You're fired, and you're fired, and you're fired," and you way in the back. You're fired too. and yeah, what are you going to do? Who are you going to replace him with? Oh, I haven't thought that by the man. He doesn't think way out there. He just kind of impulsive. It seems when he does, but I don't think he really works off of just an impulsive act. I think that he really scrutinizes what he has to do, but he just, when he has to go, it's like going, bang, you know? I got this, go for it. Well, anyway, that's a little bit of the politics that I wanted to talk about, you know. I might talk about a little bit more as we go along. But I want to talk about adolescence today. I want to talk about people wanting to stay adolescents. I read an article here, Perpetual Adolescence, and I want to talk about that because that's for me, it's not a big problem, because all it is a different way of living life now. We're coming from let me slow it down a bit. What we used to be in this country was an agrarian society. And as an agrarian society, we had a work ethics, and we had a culture and a society that was based around this work ethic, because an agrarian society is labor intensive, so you got to work. You know, you got to get out there to hope, you know, make all them little furrows and put the seeds in and grow the plants and harvest them and nurture them and do all those things that need to be done to make the plants grow. Not just plants, but to make cotton grow and make all kinds of things that you can use to make material with. So there was a lot of hard work to be done. And we had to raise cattle and sheep and stuff. Not that we don't do some of that now, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. So the whole dynamics of work has changed. Okay? So this is where I'm starting from. So that work ethics of getting down and dirty in the dirt, getting out there in the morning with your lunch pail, you know, riding on your tractor, doing all your labor like that there, or working in a factory, getting there right when the whistle blows and you're in there and you're staying there to work for 20 years. You know, this is what you signed on for. I'm going to work here, you're going to pay me, I'm going to give you 100% of my working ability and my labor, and you're going to pay me the money, and you're going to give me a vacation and a gold watch after 20 years or 25 years. And I'm going to be a good working type of person. And this is the way we work through life. And so our kids saw this back then. This is what they saw, this work ethics that, yeah, when you go to school so that you can have a better life, and go to school to maintain that better life, learn everything that you can learn, you know, so that you can have a better life. And then, so they did. They listened to us, you know. Now the kids say, hey, I went to school and I learned all that I could learn to have a better life. I'm not digging in this dirt. You know, I'm not even digging in the dirt. No. I'm not working in this one little factory over here for 20 years and get a turkey at Thanksgiving and time off for Christmas. No, I want more because I did exactly what my parents had told me to do. You know, so that's what they did. So we graduated into more mercantile type of things with sales. You know, then we started to sell things. We're selling everything. Got all kinds of sales going on all over the place. We'll sell you whatever you want. You want to buy it, we'll sell it to you. Do you need it? No. We just go sell it to you because we're going to do that. So people started to become salespeople, and then, you know, they become managers in their sales department because they want to achieve more money to buy more stuff. And then the health bills started to break in. You know, before you got sick, you got the sugar, I got the sugar. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to take care of my family because I'm finished, you know. that was the mindset, you know. Yeah, don't go to the doctors because, you know, if you have cancer, they're gonna open you up, and as soon as the air hits that cancer, you're finished. You know, they had all these different little tales about this stuff, but they accepted it, you know. They accepted it, and they accepted it because the work was hard, so the body was sound. It was much more solid and sound and more, it was more able to combat diseases than it is now. And they had an immune system that it was already been exposed to some of these things because they got dirty. You know, they didn't do that after a while because they went to school and they learned, and that was a good thing, and they became supervisors and managers and salespeople and all kind of business people, and so then they took advantage of that and become shamans. Yeah, now they don't want to work. That's where we are right now. So that's kind of what I'm going to talk about right now. I'm going to talk about the adolescent right now. You know, the kids of today, right now, the ones sitting right in your kitchen right now, or sitting in their room plugged in. You know, this is the world we live in. They seem to reach a level to where now they're not developing the way we used to develop. And I'm saying we to the people that's, 40 and, above. Those are the people that are now stepping outside of that adolescent period. Adolescence, used to be 18. Now you were considered an adult. Now it's like 40 now. You reach 40, now you're an adult. Before that you were an adolescent, you were a kid. That's today's world. And this here is happening too because of the electronics and the computer industry and the scientific stuff that makes it easier for our life to go on. And it does. It's doing exactly what we wanted it to do. This whole country, this whole way of being. We're achieving exactly what we asked for. We want things easy, we want things plentiful, we want them with bright colors on them, we want them durable and cheap, and we want them to be resupplied and redeveloped into better and bigger things all the time. That's what we want. Right now there's a big push on to make the video games more active because we need more action. We need to have more thrills, and we need to have more excitement from our video games. We need to interact with our video games and stuff. Yeah, I read that this morning in the journal. The video games they need to become more active. People are bored with the Call of Duty. They need something more. Kill weapons that just kill hundreds at a time and stuff. They just can't lose though. That's the problem. There's no challenge in the game for them. Say you can't lose, because you're the star. You're the star of your own game in your own little privacy of your own bedroom, or any place where you carry your little game around with you, because you don't have to just be confined to the computer on the table. You can take it with you wherever you want to go, and you can kill aliens, and you can kill bad guys, and you can create aliens and bad guys to kill if you want to, but it has to be more active. And it's like, okay, more active, but you're getting less active. You're not moving. And they're not working and stuff. Let me look and see what I highlighted on some of this perpetual stuff right here. Hold on for a minute. All right. This is by, this article, Perpetual Adolescence, is by this Senator Ben Sasse. He said, too many young people in the United States are failing to reach self-sustaining adulthood. And then this is how he and his wife encourage his children. I don't agree with all the things that, I ain't going to go into the way that he raised his children, because actually I think some of his stuff is good, some of his stuff isn't good. But I want to highlight some of the stuff that is relevant to all people. Like the word adultering is an ironic way to describe engaging in adult behavior. So first off, what are we calling adult behavior? That's the first thing, that we have to identify, because adult behavior for everybody is not the same. You know, you might be from Italian background. So an adult behavior for you is going to be different from somebody who's from Ethiopian background, or from a Swedish background, or someplace like that. Wherever your ancestry is, you're gonna use that as the model for your adult behavior. You don't have to, but it's the most easy and the most accessible way for you to do this. So I don't know what an Italian adult behavior would be. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what Ethiopian behavior would be.
Troop Brenda Jenkins says, "Hey, Troop."
Hey, Brenda. That's Brenda Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing Brenda in a little while, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah, love me some Brenda Jenkins. So I'm sending love to Brenda. Over the airways, all across the world, just rebounding. It'll get to you, however it travels over mountains, down valleys and rivers. But don't worry. Sending love to Brenda. Yeah. Back on my kids here on adultering. And the different cultures that have different ways of raising their children. So, you know, some cultures, and then there's the affluent and the versus the poor for raising their children too. You know, poor kids, I don't even know really. This is just what I'm remembering stuff. Poor kids have more chores than the rich kids did. The affluent kids didn't really have a chores. Poor kids got chores. Take the garbage out. You know, wash the dishes, clean the house, clean your room. You know, that's it. And if they lived in the project, sweep the stairs down, clean the hallway. You know, you had chores to do, and you got a little token kind of allowance and stuff like that. I believe a lot of affluent kids don't have a lot of chores to do because they get a lot of extracurricular activities to do, so they really don't have time to do the chores. And if they're really too affluent, there's somebody in the house who's getting paid to do that stuff anyway. So it's like they don't. But in different cultures, they would have different ways of having chores. You know, that's just how it is. So being an adult, as the way he describes it, you know, it works, but you have to keep in mind that not all adultering is the same. So, to a growing number of Americans, acting like a grown-up seems like a kind of role-playing, a mode of behavior requiring humorous detachment. I really don't know what that means, but I understand that, you know, the adolescents, like I say, you're looking to your parents, you're looking to the uncles, aunts, all those people that come into your life. A lot of the people aren't there anymore, uncles and aunts and all these things. There's not the big extended families that they used to have before that used to hang out in Grandma's kitchen. You know, 'cause now they just took Grandma's kitchen and put her at a little table over in the corner and left her there. You know, so nobody's in the kitchen. But it is a humorous thing because the kids, the adolescents now looking at the adults and saying, I want to be like them. You know, they're boring. I don't want to be like them. And then the next thing you know, they start to be like them anyways because the adults are doing the same thing that the kids are doing. They're sitting in front of their computers. They might be typing away like they're doing something, but what are they doing? They're sending an email to somebody. Yeah? And it's somebody that might live in the next apartment over.
Or in the same house.
Or in the same house, as Will says. Yeah? That's Will Trumpet in the AM. Yeah, so they said, well, he's boring. While you sitting there playing your game of kill all the bad people twice, you know? Get the numbers. I got to kill all these bad people. And I got to drink all this high energy stuff and everything. Yeah, it's high energy because it's loaded with sugar and it has this niacin in it that gives you this euphoric type of feeling that's all heat and everything. So don't take it. It's really garbage. You don't need it. We'll talk about that later. So, you know, it is humorous when you think about the way that the kids identify with the way that they see their parents, because their parents are doing the exact same thing they're doing, except that they're not playing the game. Some of them are playing games. A lot of them are playing games. Some of them are just doing email, and a lot of email and texting and a lot of texting. This is, it's like, it really is kind of humorous, you know, so that's just, so dinner gets relegated to takeout, which I know how to cook, you know, so we eat takeout, you know, but that's how they're being raised now. These are the behaviors they see. What's for supper? I don't know, McDonald's. What do you want? McDonald's? Want Burger King? Wendy's? Oh, we can't afford Wendy's today, but we're getting paid tomorrow, so yeah, we'll have Chinese food tomorrow. How about that? And pizza? Okay, all right, yeah. All right. You know, it's like, are you going to cook something? Do they learn how to cook? No. No. They learn how to measure water? No. Put a cup of water in there, so they grab any cup that's not dirty, that's not in the sink dirty, and they just fill that cup up with water. That cup could be 16 ounces.
True. A texter says that the family has moved away from doing chores together, having dinner together. They moved away from a lot of the things that made the family the family. Vacation family time, it's way too much technology. Texas says when you're at the table, even when it's time to eat, they'll still have their phones in their hands.
Oh yeah, thank you, Texas. Yeah. As far as I can see, you're right on point. That's just what I'm talking about. They've really moved away from the family dynamics. Even those people that really think they have a close family dynamic, simply because they might say, okay, no electronics at the dinner table. and this seems to bring them, they think that they're having a closer dynamic, you know, and they might have some kind of family time at the dinner table, and they interact for as long as they can maintain their food without chewing it. You know, but the other parts are missing. The chores are missing, the cooking's missing, even the helping of the homework and on, you know, the kids don't get help with homework either, because some of the homework is being done on computers.
One more thing. I remember you and I went to Muriel's.
Muriel.
Yeah, I remember after we got done interviewing her, it was the weirdest thing that I've ever seen.
Yes.
The whole family went to the table and sat, and they were excited because their mother was going to read a book to them.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, people still do that. But that's what's really missing in the household.
Oh yeah, there's some people that bring a lot of, they do that on a regular basis. And Muriel, she's an 11-year-old little entrepreneur. She's got a whole line of things that's out there right now. She's still going strong with her entrepreneurial venture and stuff. So, you know, shout out to Muriel. And to shout out to her family and the way that they interact like that. But then there's other families, most families don't do that. Most families aren't even thinking about that. It's supper time. Okay, where's the kids? Well, I don't know.
Let me text them.
Yeah, let me text and send out the group text. Boom, supper time. Come on now. Before it gets cold. Well, it's getting cold because you just came out the car with it. So you got the microwave, heat it up. Everybody's living life. But it's become normal, so there's nothing wrong with that. It's humorous, like it says up here to me, because, you know, that wouldn't be normal. But now that it's become normalized and stuff, this is just a way of life. And people can watch cooking shows, and but they can't cook. So that's one of the things. And what else goes on here? What's new today is a drift towards perpetual adolescence. What's new is seeing so much light difference now between a 10-year-old and a young adult in their late 20s. What this is saying is the perpetual adolescence is that the creative thinking of a 10-year-old is being the same now as somebody who's 19 or 20. Their creative thinking is on about that same level. Their cognitive ability might be a little bit higher, depending upon what school they went to and things like that. But the creative thinking, the thinking that sparks imagination, and the thinking that evolves with a little bit of fantasies, a little bit of science fiction, you know, a little bit of just thinking outside the box and stuff is on the level of a 10-year-old because it's just the same. You put the 10-year-old and the 20-year-old together in a room and they'll have the same conversation. We had that. 10-year-old kids used to talk 10-year-old stuff. 20-year-old people were grown then, you know. They were grown. They had a creative period prior to being 20, you know, and that creative period stayed with them, so their imagination was highly perfected. But now the imagination is the same as the 10-year-old's imagination, as it doesn't grow and spread out and come perfected. It just stays on that same level because the games that they're playing are the same. They're playing the same Call of Duty, the same. I don't even know the video games. I only know
Call of
that.
Duty.
I know that one, you know, because the only one I ever played was that one where the people come down, and you go, and you move across the line. Space Invaders. That's that's the only game I do. Yeah, and I stunk at it, so I wasn't good at this stuff. But they got the same thing like that, you know. It's this is devastating to the world, you know, because, you know, you're 20-year-old sitting there with your 10-year-old, and you say, oh, look at that, ain't they having fun together? Look at how the older kids and the younger kids are interacting. Well, the younger kid is showing the older kid how to play the game. Because their creative abilities is just at the peak for them, you know, so they're really in there. They're having a good time with their creative ability. The older one, he's starting to become, even though he doesn't want to become, more responsible into a more realistic, reality-based world. Fighting as hard as they can, you know. So they go right back with their 10-year-olds and we'll sit down together and we'll have a good time. But I'm the adults, you know. Yeah, but you don't know the rules. Here, watch this, because I'm 10. So that's that perpetual adolescence. Those people don't want to give it up. And, you know, mom and dad standing right behind them watching the game saying, move, get, you know, they're right involved with the game too. So I guess that's good family involvement. They're having good family time. Well, let's see what else we got here in this little article. So independent adulthood is no longer the norm for this generation. That's what I was just talking about before with perpetual adolescence. To be an independent adult, somebody who's going to think on their feet and think in a rational, reasonable way, that's pretty much gone away in early adulthood. You know, they don't have the courage to take the chance too, because a lot of their years when they could have been taking risks and they could have been engaging in some kind of working thing that's going to show that, well, you got to put the energy in, you got to put the effort in, you got to really take a risk, you got to start. It's not there, you know, because they were busy identifying with their 10-year-old sibling how to play a game. So you know, so the independenthood isn't there for this generation. And for the first time, for more than 130 years, and this I thought was really kind of crazy, adult ages 18 to 34 were slightly more likely to be living in their parents' house. It's like,
I believe it.
What's up with that?
I believe it.
That's you know, that's amazing. That's amazing. For 18 to 18, I was in the military. It's like, I'm out of here. I can't be living in this house anymore. I gotta go. Yeah. 8 to 34 years old, still live. And I guess that there's a huge number after that that's still living in mom's house. You know? Still right there. Not helping mom. They're texting mom. Mom, supper ready?
A texter just said they have one in their house.
They go, yeah, that's amazing. You know, that's an amazing thing to look at. You know,
If that's what you want to call it. I don't know if they call it amazing. They call it something else.
God, you better get on out here. And you gotta pick up after them. This is the part too. You gotta pick up after these 30-something-year-old kids. You know. You gotta pick up after. It's like, pick your shoes up. Take your shoes off before you're coming out. Oh, no, I'm an adult. I ain't gonna do. If you're an adult, get out. Go on out there and get me some grandbabies. What's the matter with you? No, don't go out there and get no grandbabies. You can't handle it. Leave them grandbabies outside. But that's good. That's good. It keeps the families together and everything. And it sometimes I can see where it's necessary because there's not a lot of jobs out there for some of these people, some people to do. Yeah. And that's sad because they're busy identifying with their 10-year-old on how to play Call of Duty, so they didn't really take that risk on just like I say right here, the adulthood. You know, it's been pushed back. But yeah, I guess there's a lot of us in this paper. All right, so let's see. So fully 1/4 of the Americans between 25 and 29 live with a parent, compared to only 18% a decade ago. Well, you can see that the trend was starting to push forward. You know, you can see because at 30 years prior to that, you didn't have that. And then before that, especially if you were a young lady, you know, you graduate in high school, you're 20 years old, people look at you like you're an old spinster if you're not getting married. What are you going to be, a librarian? Nothing against the librarians, but that's what they used to say, right? You know, I don't know why librarians back in the day were the ones that weren't married, but that seemed to be what they used to say, you know. But now, wait, almost 40, you're not married, good, take your time. You're not ready for marriage, you don't know anything. And it's true, because it seems like they really can't handle being the household leader. You know, it's not the breadwinner anymore. You got to lead the household, because in the household there's a lot of hidden responsibilities that I don't think the kids themselves get exposed to at first, because there's bills. You know, you got to pay bills. Yeah, some kids in these 30-year-old, 25, 30-year-old kids, they don't know about paying the bills. They know about buying something. That's it. But they don't know about how that money got there. It's like, how'd that money get here? Well, I just asked my mom. She got a magic way of getting this money here, you know. I don't know what it is. Yeah, but that's how we get the money here, see. So they don't know that skill on paying the bills. And then if you can't pay the bills and you can't, because you don't know the skill of bringing in the money, eating becomes a real problem. Because you can't cook, because all you know about is eating out and bringing home to take home, but you got to pay for that. And it costs more money than to cook up a meal that's really good tasting and stuff that you really like. So becomes, and then the clothing. You're still in that age where your peers dictate your behavior. So if you're going out there with your little $10 high top sneakers on that don't say any name on, what do you call them, Bobos or something like?
Skippies.
Skippies?
Yeah.
It's a Skippy, huh? Yeah, that's a good name for it. That's a military name. Skippy, kind of useless.
Mm-hmm. They call them sneakers.
Yeah. So if you got those on, you ain't going outside. No, these are my inside. These are my slippers. I just came out, you know, really quick. You know, I had to get out the house for a minute, so I just left my slippers on. No, those are all you have, because you don't know how to go about buying things or anything. You run right out. You get paid, whatever it's going to be. So you got to look fashionable. So you spend all your money on some fashionable clothes.
And no place to live.
No place to live. You still got to live in Bobby's house. You got to make that choice. Do I live or do I live? I live with Mama. I live with Mama. Yeah. And then the funny part is, then as you start to get older, you can't wait to get Mama out. It's like it's her house. Yeah, you want to put her in a nursing home. You know, you want to take them and get them out. This is my house. You know, this is their house, you know. That's just crazy. Yeah, so. Alright, now what else is going on? So here's some of the factors that have been contributed to this shift and everything. The economy has something to do with it. Naturally, we'll talk a little about the economy. But social and cultural developments do too. The list of culprits include our incredible wealth and the creative components to which our children are accustomed. Right? Well, that's kind of what we're talking about right now. The economy isn't put together for the poor people. The economy isn't put out there for the middle class people. The economy is definitely out there for those who have the wealth. The more affluent people, the upper middle class people. That's where the economy is. It just so happens that the people who want to have the status and look as though they're doing good are the people from the middle class and the poor people. So they're spending the money. The clothing and the Coach bags or something like that cost really crazy amount of money, and Gucci and all these things like that. You know, the more affluent people, they have it because they can afford it, but they don't have 4 or 5 different Gucci outfits. That's for the poor people who can't afford it because they think it's gonna make them look more. That's all it's gonna make them look. So, but then the more affluent people, they got houses. They put in the cars. You know, they got better cars. They have more things because they were able to buy that because somebody in that family was making the money. You know, I ain't even gonna pretend that the people in the affluent thing raise their kids any different than the people in the poorest neighborhood. They're all sitting down playing Call of Duty. You know, and the 20-year-olds are still asking the 10-year-olds how to play this game. You know, there's nothing changed except that the parents are the more affluent. They got the money, but slowly it's slipping away for that next generation. For that next generation that's coming out now, that even in those middle class societies, if you got 4 kids, only one of them's gonna get the house. You know, the other 3 gonna have to go live someplace eventually. Maybe when they're 50, I don't know when they're gonna get out the house. But sooner or later, they're gonna have to get out that house. And don't let mom and dad die early or some kind of in their 60s or something. Boy, the whole family falls apart then because the kids don't have any source of income.
Right.
They can't do anything. They're not looking for any advice now. They're not looking for anything that's going to help them develop along the way. They're just looking for things to sustain the normal regular things: shelter, food, clothing. That's what they're looking for, those regular survival things of life. But that's okay. So let's see what else is going on. Now the cultures too. This country here has it's not a problem, but it is something that's very, 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 very interesting in it, because the people that are coming to this country, there's people coming to this country swimming the ocean. I mean, literally, they're doing the crawl across the ocean. They go, I'm going to America because that's where life is better for me. They're literally trying to swim the ocean, folks. And you living here and playing Call of Duty. But they're trying to swim the ocean to come over here to get an education, to get a job so that they can have a better life for themselves and their people. You know? That's scary. That's scary because you know if they got the tenacity and they got the drive and they got the will to swim an ocean, when they come over here, they want the best job that they can get. They ain't coming over here to work in McDonald's. They're not coming over here to sweep out the floor and stuff. They're coming over here to get those high-paying, high-skilled jobs. You know, that's what they. And you know that they're going to put time in to learn the skills needed, to get the skills needed to get those jobs. Cause they just swam the ocean. You know, they put like 50 people in a rowboat, and you know, all right, if the boat tips over, keep swimming. Gotcha. You know. that, I mean, that's powerful. That's powerful. And we're over here with 20-year-olds talking to our 10-year-olds, who the 10-year-old telling them how to play Call of Duty. So, and that's a little rough too. And then when you master Call of Duty and you say, well, I'm going out and celebrating, you put on all these clothes that you can't afford and everything, and you go out there and you celebrate hard and you come home and living in your parents' house. You know, and you're 35 years old. You need a beat. No, you don't. I mean, that's just the way life is now. But we'll say, yes, they do. Yes, they need a beat. Time to get out. And you know what's the sad part about it is, it's a lot of these people that are in that age group, it's not that they want to get away from doing what they're doing. They're enjoying what they're doing. This is their whole life. This is what makes them happy. This is what gets them up when they get up. I don't know when they get up. But this is what they want to do. They want to play Call of Duty, or they want to go out and party, and they want to walk around and look as though they're successful. But they didn't get the idea of how hard it is to be successful. And then they learn how to complain and be a victim. And that's another story, but that's all that cultural and social aspect of it. Because you can complain all you want in this country, they don't care. You know, and nobody cares. And if you're not complaining, that's when they start to worry. Why aren't you complaining? Why aren't you saying there's something wrong with the way society's going so that I can look good and keep my job? You know, I can tell you I'll fix it and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll fix it. Yeah, you just keep complaining, I'll fix it. Don't worry, don't worry about it. It's not going to get done, but, you know, everybody's happy. And somebody else is literally stroke after stroke. Just keep swimming. They just keep swimming. They're going to get over here as best they can, and they're going to get that job. And then they'll pay taxes. Or whatever they'll do with it. But what else goes on in this world here? Okay, here you go. Part of learning to be an adult is figuring out that our real needs can be separated from the insistent call of our wants. That's called maturity, folks. That's called maturity. Yeah, and that's something that seems to be lacking, you know, because we want what we want because we want it. That's called a little 10-year-old. He still wants what he wants because he wants it. He don't know why he wants it. He don't know how he's gonna get it, other than ask mama. So I guess while the 10-year-old's telling the 20-year-old how to play the game Call of Duty, the 20-year-old's asking him, hey, how did you get that anyway? Well, I asked mama. Oh yeah? Now 20-year-old, he's gonna go over there and ask mama if he can have a Chevy or a Ford or no, Toyota or something like that. He's gonna want a car. And he, you know, do a lot of crying, a lot of whining and get it like that. But that's an important fact right there. You gotta learn sometimes in your life, and it's best to learn these lessons earlier to have this understand between your wants and your needs, you know? And your needs are something that you should take care of first. You need shelter, so they take care of that. They live at home. You need food, they take care of that. You eat at home. You need clothing, they take care of that. You ask the people who own the house and feed you the food to buy you the clothes. That's not right. Because then all you're doing is going out there for your wants, whatever it is you want. But the things that you want come in materialistic forms. They don't come in those things that come outside the material form. Like I want to, you know, I want to be an independent small business owner. That's fine. But just wanting to be an a small business owner isn't going to make you an independent small business owner. You have to go out and learn how it is to be an independent small business owner. You have to take the interest and the risk and the hard work put into being that independent small business owner. Now this is when living with the parents can come in quite handily, you know, because then you don't have to worry about big rents and stuff like that. You can actually go out there and work the hours to do it, but you have to go out and work the hours. You just can't be hanging around with your little brother and playing Call of Duty and lose it. That's the funny part. They ain't with it. They lose it, yeah. And you little kids, if you're listening, you know, you grow up. I'm sure the little kids are going to grow up and surpass this adolescent generation that hasn't made this transition into adulthood. Because it seems like they're like I said, like I've been making fun of, they're actually learning from their little brothers and sisters. And they're almost, not almost adults, they done passed adulthood, they're almost senior citizens. You know, they get ready to retire, except they haven't started the job yet. But it is, you know, they're just waiting for tomorrow, it's always going to come. Let's see if we got anything else that we can say. I didn't need any commercials or anything. Nope. I better do one, huh? Yeah, and I'm going to do one more little one. We want our children to learn the habits of finding pleasure in the essentials of life and feeling gratitude for them. Now this is what, when we come back from this commercial, I'm going to talk a little bit about this. This is what every adult wants for their kids. They want their kids to learn the habits of finding pleasure in the essentials of life, you know, and feeling gratitude there. And we'll talk about that a little bit when we come back. I'm going to do a couple of commercials. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I'm back?
Yep.
Alright, we're back. We paid a couple of the bills and stuff. See, that folks, we got to pay bills too. And we're big people here, you know. We don't mess around and stuff. We're the big people. Now, I was going to come back and tell you what we want for our children. We want our children to learn the habit of finding pleasure in the essentials of life and feeling gratitude for them. Now this is a work ethic. That's really all they're really talking about right there, is we want to teach them the joys of work ethics and stuff, and the pleasure that you get out of work ethics, and the pleasure that you get out of the privilege of doing things for other people. These are all those kind of pleasure. That's an ArchAngel type of thing, you know. And everybody wants to have their children be somebody that understands the difference between right and wrong, that understands good and bad, that understands that there's hard work and there's no work, and then that they understand by doing the things that's on the negative part of that line, that you really don't get a lot of rewards out of those things. The instantaneous pleasure reward you might get out of doing something that, you know, I'm going out tonight, I'm going there, I had a great time, I had big fun and everything like that. Well, you could keep saying I had a great time and big fun for the next 2 months if you want to. But, yeah, it's not sustainable. It's fun. That's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be pleasurable in that regard. But there's also a thing for the pleasure that you have going to your job and producing something. It's like, oh yeah, you know, in the work today I created this. That's powerful. That's powerful. Or on the way to work today, I stopped this person, you know, he fell down, I picked him up, dusted him off, put him on the bench and stuff, you know, asked him if he was all right or she was all right. You know, felt good. And go on. Those things that are sustainable too. And, you know, but the work is even more sustainable, the creative factor of the work. You don't, even going to the whatever job that it might be, you might be going to your job and you're working as a laborer, and making concrete bricks and stuff. Well, you're making future buildings and stuff. You're maybe not making concrete bricks. You're making the foundation for the next generation cities to live in and stuff. You can look at it any way you want to. You can look at it if you're working in a grocery store in the checkout line, you know. You can look at that you're greeting people all the time and just, you know, having a conversation with them. You don't have to be the robotic, did you find everything okay? okay, found everything okay. You don't have to be robotic in that sense. You can smile, you can interact with these people, and they'll smile back to you. You know, and that's a whole lot of fun too. And you know, these are privileges that you don't get if you don't go out and interact with them, and that seems to be one of the things that the kids today aren't doing. They don't go out and interact with anybody. They interact with their schoolmates. You know, they interact on the same grade level. So if you're in the 5th grade, I don't know how old a 5th grade kid is, tell you the truth, you interact with the same kids in your school. They're all the same age. So you're interacting with the same age group. So there's not much being transferred to you. Because the kids in the 7th grade aren't talking to the kids in the 5th grade. Why they want to talk to the kids in the 5th grade? They ain't going to talk to them. So that stays like that till you get into high school. And then after that you go to college. And that's when the kids start to interact with different age group type of kids. So the behaviors that they're going to learn from the kids are much more important and much more powerful in their lives than the stuff they're learning from their parents. Because the stuff they're learning from their parents isn't working, you know? Nothing against the parents, it's just that the kids are learning from the kids themselves. And the kids themselves that they're learning from are age-related kids. So a 10-year-old kid's learning from a 10-year-old kid. A 12-year-old kid's learning with a 12-year-old kid. They're staying in these small little groups. And within these groups, that's how they interact. So the knowledge is just being a linear transference. It's all going on a straight line. There's nothing coming up and there's nothing going down. Well, a little bit. There's always ciphers. You know, there's a little bit. You know, some 12-year-old kid might hang out with the 10-year-old kids every once in a while in the schoolyard. Don't know. Or some bully might be bullying a 12-year-old kid, and one of the higher grade kids might not like that and go over there and interfere with that. You know, say, cut that stuff out. But for the most part, kids learn from the same age group. So the information that's being transferred is just information that's on that same level of understanding that they have. Except for those 20-year-olds who got to go learn from those 10-year-olds how to play Call of Duty. They in a mess. They in a mess. And this continues on. So you can see why there's a lot of things that aren't going well for a lot of people out there, because you know, the parents want their kids to get the best and be the happiest and get the most pleasure out of life that they can. And in doing that, they're actually, in some regards, stifling what's going on with them. A 35-year-old kid living at home, that's quite all right, because today's economy, there may not be a job for that 35-year-old kid. But it doesn't have to happen. There's exposures you can do to kids. And there's one other thing that I think that all parents should do for kids is make the kid read. You know, kids gotta read. They like to read, they just don't know it. That's where you gotta be the parent. The kids like to read. They like to play Call of Duty too, but they like to read too, because, like we said in the beginning, their minds are creative. Yeah, so if you give them a book to read, you know, it doesn't have to be Moby Dick. It doesn't have to be Homer's Iliad or
War and Peace.
War and Peace. Yeah, it doesn't have to be that. Any book that they like to read, their imagination is going to be stimulated from that book. You know? And by stimulating their imaginations from those books as they grow up and continue to read, then the imaginations don't wither away and just hide in some corner of your mind and never be used. You know, they're used all the time, and you have it with imagination. There's growth. If you can imagine something, you can make it work, and you can make a fortune off it if you want to. It's just how much work you want to do it. But if you don't have the imaginative ability, if you let that go and you just live in a cognitive world I'm going to learn how to play Call of Duty, so I better go get my little imaginative 10-year-old brother or sister, because they know how to do it, and then, you know, good 20 years old, so it's like, you better hope that their brother and sister love you when they get older and they keep up their imaginative kind of creative growth skills and get those good jobs and take care of you, because you're not going to. That group of people right there in the middle, that's who I'm saying that it's like, not too late. It's not too late. Take a look at yourself and then just be honest with yourself. This group of 18 to 35 who still want to live, you know, in mommy's house and stuff like that, who still want to be pampering and still want to be protected by their parents, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It just doesn't have a lot of development to it. There's not a lot of growth to it. And, you know, so, but you can change it. You can start reading a book. You can start increasing your understanding of the world around you. You know, there's so many people out there. It's hard to travel if you don't have any money, and it's hard, you know, but you can. And I think travel is one of the best things for you, because you get to see different cultures at work. Right here, I mean, you don't have to travel far too. If you're living in a city, and cities usually are blocked off by little sections and stuff. This is the black section, this is the Irish section, this is the Italian section, you got the Jewish section up here, you got this other section over here. This is, everybody got Chinatown, you got Chinatown over here, you go there to eat. You know? So, but if you go take a walk in these different sections, it might be a little challenging for somebody, you know, to walk in somebody else's neighborhood because everybody's so protective and stuff. But just to you know, when you're in school, if you got friends and stuff, talk to your friends about the way they lived their lives and how they did their lives, and you can make comparisons back and forth. And all knowledge is powerful. Because the more you get, the more you can take and manipulate with little building blocks and make your world into any kind of thing that you want. And then when you get money, go visit these other countries. They're all there for you. All this is here. It's not that far away. It's not that far away. Might cost you a few more dollars than a bus ticket, but you know, you can take a bus ride to New York that takes a couple of hours, or you can take an airplane trip to Bermuda. Takes less time, you know. It's like, it's not all that far away. Might cost you a little bit more than the bus trip, but it's all out there. You just have to be creative enough to think that that's what you want to do. And that's the creative I'm talking about too, because a lot of people don't do that. They don't think that I can do this. They've already stifled that creative thought in their mind. Well, I can't go to Bermuda. Sure you can. You know, you can buy an airplane ticket. You just got to put the money together to do it. Yeah, do anything you want to do. And once you say I can't do it, well, why can't you do it? Because, you know, I got to go buy them $300 pair of sneakers right there. Okay, well, wear those slippers that you got on, and you can use that for the airplane ticket. Hey, when you get to Bermuda, take the shoes off anyway. You don't need them. Yeah, you can walk around barefoot. So, I mean, it's where you put your priorities and stuff. But if you don't have any creative thoughts, because all you did was just stay underneath the home and let everything be given to you and stuff, then you'll never get to Bermuda. You won't get anywhere. Not that you won't have a happy, enjoyable life. You'll have a happy, enjoyable life to the understanding of what your happy, enjoyable life is. And that's okay, because it's your life. And it's your life to be happy and enjoy. And as long as you're doing things that are good and right and things that make other people feel happy, there ain't nothing wrong. You're having the best life in the world. But to have don't get upset if one of them people who come out the water after they done swam the ocean to get over here, they get the higher paying job, and then, you know, they get the good seat on the airplane going back home to visit somebody. You know, they only got to swim one way. You know, that's the trick right there. Once you clear the ocean, you already put the hard work in. The rest is just learning and developing. That's all it is, just learning and developing. And reading is one of the major ways to learn and develop. So I'm encouraging everybody to go learn. Well, I went a little bit over today, But I had a lot of fun with it. I want to thank Brenda for texting in, and I want to thank everybody for texting in, and that was good. And I hope everybody that's having a good life and everything. And love them 35-year-olds just in your house too. They need love, you know. And you 35-year-old, you better take care of your people. What's wrong with you?
Move out.
Yeah. Do whatever's necessary, and everybody just have a good time enjoying things. And I'm Trooper Joe, and I want to thank everybody for listening. And this is Trooper Joe out of Cheering the Chivalry, as it says on my shirt, so I can read it. Yeah. All right, y'all go have that fun. All right, I'm gone.